What's up, everybody? In this video, I'm going to tell you about some new developments that have been happening within the DeFi space, particularly with regard to a project called Sphere Finance. Now, I've been invested in a lot of different DeFi projects for a while now, and anybody else who has also been around this space has probably noticed that there has been somewhat of a lull in recent times after the gigantic boom in the DeFi world that happened toward the end of 2021 and the beginning of 2022. And now finally, there seems to be some positive momentum developing again. And in this video, I want to address the positive things that are happening with Sphere specifically. Now, before I go any further, I've got to say, none of this is financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy sharing my experience and thoughts on YouTube. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only. Always do your own research. And now with that out of the way, let's get into the good stuff. So if we look here at the chart, this is a 30-day chart of the Sphere token price. And you see it was kind of flat for a while. And then suddenly it has started to go way up. Let me go to the 14-day chart. Okay, so you see that for a while it was kind of, the price was hovering around in the 0.003 range. Okay, it was kind of hanging out here, not really doing much, going up and down a little bit. But then right here around July 11th, it started to suddenly spike, and then it has since just continued to go up with a few little dips along the way, followed quickly by more upward price movement. Okay, it's right now about 0.016. Okay, now that was from the 0.003s. Okay, so it's like 5x'd within just a few days. So why has the price of Sphere started to go up so much recently? Well, first, I think it's important to back up a little bit and kind of look at the history of this protocol. So when Sphere first started, it was a rebasing token. And if you don't know what a rebasing token is, it's basically a token that you buy, and then the number of tokens in your wallet starts to multiply, okay? New tokens are being constantly created at a certain set rate. And there are many DeFi protocols like this. There were lots and lots of projects coming out earlier in the first quarter of this year, and Sphere was one of them. And I think that initially attracted a lot of new investors because of the simplicity of the model, okay? And that's kind of the appeal, I think, of all the rebasing tokens, is that you just buy it and hold it, and the number of tokens in your wallet just keeps on increasing every single day. And over time, it goes up exponentially. Now, if you look back at the total history of Sphere, you'll see in the very beginning, it had a meteoric rise. Okay, I was lucky to get in pretty early. I did not get in on a pre-sale, but I got in within the first week or so of the launch of the protocol. And then the price just started going way up. It kept going up and kept going up. And the farther it went up, the more excited potential investors got about it. And with more and more people buying in because they're seeing the price go up, that in turn made the price continue going up further until it didn't. And then right here around the 15th of April, it started to fall precipitously, and it kept falling and falling and falling. Okay, and then finally it started to kind of settle and then remained flat for a while, maybe about 6 weeks or so. And many people started to get disheartened, not just about Sphere, but about DeFi projects in general. And it wasn't just Sphere that went down. The entire crypto market took a bit of a crash, and a lot of people panicked and then would sell what they had, which caused the price to fall further, which then led to more and more people seeing the price going down and panicking and selling their holdings as well, etc., etc. But anyhow, the price eventually stabilized, and the founder Simsala eventually made the decision to stop the rebases on the token, which was kind of an unprecedented move for most of the major well-known DeFi projects. And the model that he introduced instead of rebasing was one of deflationary mechanisms. And you can read all about this in a lot of detail, both on the Discord and in various AMAs with Simsala. And there's a lot of resources on the Sphere Finance website as well, but I'll just sort of break it down in layman's terms for you. So basically, Sim's idea was that rather than using a rebasing type of model, he would stop the rebases and instead create value for the investors by forced appreciation of the price. So how is he going to do that? How is the price of this token going to be forced to go up or appreciate? So what Sphere does is they have lots of these partnerships to create streams of income and profit for Sphere. Okay, in a nutshell, that's kind of what they're focusing on, is creating more and more partnerships that will make a profit for Sphere. And then with those profits, they buy back the tokens that were created during the rebasing period. Okay, so when the token is rebasing, lots and lots of new tokens are being generated every single day, just constantly churning out more and more Sphere tokens. So there ends up being quite a significant supply out there. So once the rebases were stopped, now the idea is that they generate profits through these partnerships for the protocol. And then with those profits, they buy back the supply of tokens, and then they burn them. They send them to a dead wallet, thus removing them from the circulating supply. Okay, so because there are no new tokens being constantly produced, and instead they're buying back and burning tokens with the profits that they're generating, that is what forces the price to go up. Because every time they do a buyback and burn, there is less circulating supply, and therefore the value of each token is forced to go up. Okay, so that is their model. And for a while after Sim announced that they were going to move to that model, nothing really seemed to happen. And as an investor myself, there was a period of time where I was kind of wondering, okay, that all sounds good, but when are we going to actually see the results? Well, if we hop over to the Discord, there was an announcement several days ago where Sim kind of addressed these concerns that some of us have had. He said, "We've been earning fees and farming with our huge treasury for a long time now. Spherians awaited for us to use our war chest for buybacks and burns. We can understand the frustration some members might have had with our reluctance so far. We thank everyone for the suggestions and patience, so let's get to the gravy of it all. It is time we use a part of our earnings to buy back Sphere. You heard that right. We won't be announcing when and how much Sphere will be BBB'd, meaning buyback burn, right? But it will happen and you will see it after the fact." And then he addresses, okay, why aren't we announcing the buyback burns? Easy. We don't want to get front run by people who want to buy and sell at buybacks, okay? We don't want the system to be gamed, jeopardizing funds and making the buybacks less meaningful. We're a long-term hold and we want it to pay off for all our holders. Okay, so in other words, they don't want people to know exactly when they're about to do the buybacks and burns, because then you could just buy the tokens right before the buyback and burn. And then as soon as the buyback and burn happens, the price goes up and then you sell it to make a quick profit. Okay, so Sphere's goal really is to be a long-term play. And I think that that's really cool. So if we continue on, they're just thanking us all for the support, saying we're working to put our effort into making the market envious. Also, more projects in the ecosystem equals more revenue to buy back. Okay, that goes to what I was mentioning earlier. They're trying to continually add more and more partnerships so that they can make more revenue, more profits, and then use those to do more buybacks and burns, thus forcing appreciation of the price. Okay, so if we go down a little bit farther, you see them announcing after the fact, okay? So they won't tell you right before they're going to do a buyback and burn, but they'll let you know afterwards. And plus, we've been seeing it through the price movement anyway. But he says, let's enjoy the buy streak with a little burn. $282,350 in Sphere have been burned. Okay, that's about 50 million Sphere have been sent to the dead wallet, dropping the circulating supply to 8.34 billion. The numbers are going down. Another cool development is that they have turned the buy taxes off only temporarily, but this is really good news for anybody who's interested in buying Sphere, okay? Because normally there are taxes when you buy and when you sell. But for a short period of time, they have completely eliminated the buy taxes. So if this is a project you're interested in, I would think now might be a great time to consider buying because you're not going to pay any tax at all. So moving onward, here in this announcement, and if you're a member of this Discord group, you will know that Sim loves to make announcements. He makes a lot of them. So anyhow, here he's saying, this is for everyone who has supported us through our ups and downs so far. We know many don't see the vision. We know how many of you are extremely optimistic about Sphere, and we know it's difficult to support the protocol when everyone is curious as to when we'll do the buybacks. This is for you as a long-term investor. Let's make every hater eat their words. Okay? You got to love the spirit here. He's saying Sphere to 1 cent, then Sphere to 10 cents, and Sphere to $1. We never went away. We build in silence. Okay, then they're listing their partners right now, and they're always planning on adding to this. And they're noting that the project is only 4 months old, and these are the current partners that they have. So that's 7 of them so far, including Sphere itself. So I guess that would be 6 additional partners that they have. Not bad for 4 months, okay? And now we're actually seeing the proof that this model is working. That is the really great news, okay? So here he's saying on our current map alone, we boast over 10 projects in total. I guess some of them are not mentioned here in this list, and saying that the revenue streams are just warming up. Okay. And if we go a little farther, you see they temporarily are also increasing the sell tax to 25%. So no buy tax at all, but they did increase the sell tax just slightly up to 25% just for a little while. He's saying we need to collect the Sphere tokens to burn them. We already collected 1.1 million more Sphere for that cause. And then here is a big announcement as well. Okay. Sim says, the cat's out of the bag. We started off slowly, but let's make today's buyback burn spree come out with guns blazing, okay? Today marks all that you've been waiting for. We've worked so hard to get to this point, and now it's time. It's time to celebrate. We will continue to work and make buybacks more frequent and bigger. Remember, we've only released 3 projects in the ecosystem with 3 more incoming. There's more in the background being worked on as well. Revenue overload, we said we'd do it. To top it all off, let's repeat what we've achieved. We made revenue streams that made this price action possible. We've reached 1 cent again with the help of the community and buybacks. We've proven that we're a long-term hold, that buyback burns work, and that we're deflating heavily. Okay, so that's basically the deal with this upward price movement. They finally started implementing these buybacks and burns, and the proof is in the pudding, as they say. So hopefully this can be a little bit of encouragement for anybody who was a little unsure about what was going on and why it was taking so long. But now we see that the revenue streams were being built up, the partnerships are being created, and now finally they have generated enough profits to start doing these buybacks and burns, and we see the results here. So the price is going up once again. It is really great to finally see some green for multiple days in a row. It's been a while in the DeFi world since we've seen that consistently. And this is really kind of a breath of fresh air in the recent DeFi lull that we have seen. But I do think it's important to remember that much of the sentiment in really any market, but particularly in these crypto markets, tends to come in cycles, right? And in the DeFi space, if you think back to something like Time Wonderland, there was a huge boom. And then when everything fell apart, there was lots of fear, lots of FUD going around, and people were generally fearful about DeFi. And then a little while later, DeFi 2.0 projects like Titano come along and started to succeed, and many other projects start popping up, and there was a general exuberance in the market again around DeFi, and then the entire market fell once again because of a combination of many factors, and once again lots of fear, uncertainty, and doubt predominated. But it does seem that now there is reason to be hopeful once again within the DeFi space. And now, of course, again, this project is only about 4 months old, so there's not a tremendous amount of history to look at. So as with anything in the investing world, and particularly in the crypto and DeFi world, there is always risk associated with any investment. And there's no way to know if a project is for sure going to succeed or going to fail. but it is really nice to actually see the results start to show themselves. Okay, so most people that know anything about Simsala, the creator of Sphere, generally agree that he is a very bright guy and he has a lot of ideas that seem to be really great. And now we're starting to see the fruits of these ideas. So this is definitely really exciting news for anybody who is a current Sphere investor or for anybody who is just considering getting into this project. Okay, guys, I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you got value out of this, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel where we talk about all things DeFi and crypto. See you next time.